Hello everyone! In this video I'm putting together a portable 100-watt solar panel charging station. I want to use this setup to keep my batteries topped off when I go on multiple day camping trips. I recently purchased this Renogy brand 100-watt solar panel starter kit from Amazon.com. It came with the panel. It came with this low-end 30-amp PWM charge controller, mounting brackets for the panel. It came with heavy-duty wires to hook up the panel with, as well as heavy-duty wires to hook up the battery. This was a lightning deal on Amazon, 120 bucks, shipping included. So it was a great deal. I thought it was just too good to pass up. Now, I don't use a ton of electric when I go camping. I mainly want this to top off the batteries, just to run lights or charge up an MP3 player, my cell phone, run a small fan, things like that. Now, from time to time in cold weather, I will bring along a diesel heater to heat the back of my truck shell camper. That does take a little more energy, and after 1 or 2 nights, the batteries definitely need to be topped off, so this will come in very handy for that. From time to time, I also will bring along a air conditioner unit or a microwave that I'll run for a little while, but I use a Honda generator to power those items whenever I have that type of a setup. So I'm not really going to use any kind of an inverter with this setup. I don't think I need that. This is just going to be a much better way to keep those batteries charged compared to, say, using that Honda generator. The Honda generator will charge those batteries, but it just takes a lot more energy to run the generator compared to free solar energy. Not to mention, this solar setup is going to be a lot quieter than running a generator, and I think it's going to be a lot easier. So since I'm using this solar setup for one of a few different applications, either a battery box or maybe my pull-behind camper, from time to time I'll camp where I don't have electricity and want to top off the batteries in that RV type camper. I want the charge controller, cables, fuses, everything like that to be in its own separate box that I can carry with me and use depending on what application that I need. This box I bought from Northern Tool and Equipment. I probably paid 10 or 15 bucks for it. It wasn't very much at all. It was on sale. I think I can use this to store everything. The battery the charge controller will fit down in there. I don't need anything that's going to hold a battery, so it doesn't have to be that big. And this top flips up. I think I'll put a maybe a breaker in the top here. And also I've got one of those battery analyzers to monitor the battery on this thing. So I think I might mount that in the top also. And should be all that I need for what I'm going to be using it for. Every part and component for this project so far I've ordered from Amazon.com, which was the easy part of this project. Now comes the fun part. I need to put it all together and make it work. One side of the 30-amp breaker hooks to the load side of the watt meter, the plus red wire. The black minus wire coming out of the load side of the watt meter goes straight to the negative on the battery port. The other side of the breaker goes out to the plus on the battery port. This is the wiring coming in from the solar panel. I'm wiring up a 10 amp fuse in line with the plus side of the solar panel. The other side of the fuse goes to the charge controller solar panel input on the plus side. And the minus negative wire goes to the charge controller solar panel input on the minus side. These are the leads coming out of the source side of the little watt meter. I'm going to wire the positive to the plus, battery plus on the charge controller, and the negative goes to the minus on the battery hookup on the charge controller. If you're gonna make one of these for yourself, you can see the wiring is pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. I'll briefly explain what's going on. When you get your solar panel, it's probably gonna have a junction box like this on the back with leads. One's negative, one's positive, and it has these MC4 connectors already pre-wired. My kit came with some wire here to connect the solar panel to the charge controller, but it didn't have an MC4 connector on both ends. So I had to purchase some MC4 connectors from Amazon and solder an end on each cable. So now my cable has a male and a female on both cables. This housing that I mounted on the box also has a male and a female MC4 connector. So once I have this wired correctly, there's no way that I can mess up the wiring when I hook the panel up. I'm going to have this panel portable and use it in different places I camp. I'm not going to have it permanently mounted on my camper or anything like that. I'm going to have it sitting out in the sun, best spot I can position it to pick up the most sun, and I want to be able to move it around and place it wherever is the best optimal place to catch all of the sun. So I've got the lead wires to connect it to the box. It's going to come in the box. The positive side goes through a 10 amp fuse, and then the positive side connects to this charge controller on the plus side. That little icon there is a solar panel. There's the plus, and the negative from the solar panel ties in right there on the negative terminal. That's a battery icon. The output is going to go to your battery. The plus and the minus come out of this charge controller up here to the top of my little box into this little watt meter. This watt meter is going to give me some useful information. It's going to tell me how much power I'm pulling in from the panel. It's going to tell me the condition of my battery. This will be very handy. The plus on the load side of this watt meter goes into this 30 amp breaker, which is going to also be an on and off switch. The negative comes straight through, back down through the lid to this SAE port on the outside of the box. Now, depending which battery I'm going to be using, or the RV, I've got a couple, 2 or 3 different cables I can hook into here and hook up to the battery that I want to charge. So, one thing I have to do, I'm going to secure this charge controller. I'm going to mount this charge controller on the back of this box so it's nice and secure. But that's the wiring in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty easy build. Now all I have to do is see if this thing's going to work. So I'll pack this stuff up, take it outside, and see what happens. Okay, I brought everything outside and set it up on this small table. We are in the middle of winter. It's late in the day. I'm about to lose daylight, but it has been a sunny day and there's some sunlight still left. Hopefully we will get some good readings. I brought out this small little ammo can style battery box that I built. It has an AGM style sealed battery inside. I've got the power cable plugged into the 12 volt cigarette lighter type outlet. The other end of that is going into the charge controller box we just put together. That's that SAE port. I have the solar panel ready to plug in. We're going to hold off on that until we turn on the battery. Right now the battery's turned off because the breaker is open. Let's turn the breaker on. That should supply power to the watt meter. And it says we have 0 amps. The battery is reading 12.6 volts and generating 0 watts. Okay, that makes sense. Let's plug in the other solar panel lead and see what we get. Looks like we're getting 2 amps, 1.9. It's bouncing around a little bit. 29.9 watts. Battery's 14.6 volts as it's being charged. So hey, it looks like it's working. That's good news. Let's look at the charge controller real quick. I still haven't mounted that yet, but there we go. The battery light is on. The solar panel light is flashing green. That's good. And the solid green light on the right means that I've selected a sealed AGM style battery. So everything looks good. I'm going to call this a good test. If anyone has any suggestions on a better way to wire this or something I can do different, please leave your comments down below. I am open to suggestions. This is kind of new to me, so I'm just getting started on this solar thing. But I thank you for watching the video, and I will catch you on the next one.